We're now joined by another guest from Israel, former ambassador to the United Nations, Mr. Dan Gillerman. Ambassador Gillerman, thank you very much for joining us. I want to start off with a point there just raised by Marwan Bashara, and that is the international community and particularly the United Nations. The Israeli ambassador to the UN Human Rights Council said that Palestinians should be under no illusions that Security Council resolutions will end their suffering and plight. As a person who represented your country at the United Nations, what kind of message do you think that sends to the Palestinian people that Israel does not abide by United Nations Security Council resolutions over the past several decades?
Israel has always abided by United Nations security resolutions and Security Council resolutions. If I remember correctly, it was the Hamas who continued shelling even after the ceasefire and refused to accept the United Nations Security Council resolution. But at the end of the day, I don't think it's up to the United Nations or to anyone else. It's up to the sides to make peace. We are ready to make peace. We're carrying out very, very deep and real and intensive talks with the Palestinian leadership that seeks peace. But at the same time, we have to confront the Palestinian faction which has been taken hostage by Hamas. And I think one of your guests described Gaza as a concentration camp. It is indeed a concentration camp, but it's one which was set up by Hamas, it's controlled by Hamas, which has created a hostage situation in Gaza and has put its people in peril and made them victims to its own bloody, brutal and cynical designs and its ruthless attacks.
Well, Mr. Gillerman, let me just ask you this question really quickly. You make a point saying that you talk peace with the Palestinian leadership. Let's really look at that. Over the past year alone, Israeli settlements, illegal settlements under international law, have continued to expand to the same area where you say you're talking peace. Explain the rationale behind that illegal activity while you talk peace with the Palestinian Authority that you say is the legitimate representative of the Palestinian people. How do you explain that?
Israeli settlements have not been expanded, and there have been no new settlements built. Israel has abided completely by the agreement with the Palestinians and the international community. We have
Mr. Gillerman, that's
deeper,
the Israeli human rights organizations. Mr. Gillerman, the Israeli human rights organizations, B'Tselem and others, monitor this very closely. The statistics speak for themselves. The U.S. Secretary of State Condoleezza Rice addressed the issue when she visited Jerusalem. Settlements have indeed expanded. Are you saying they are not expanding and that all these people are not reporting accurately what's happening on the ground in the occupied West Bank?
Look, the problem is not settlements. I mean, we can use every excuse we want. One day it's occupation, but then we leave Gaza and we keep getting rockets in return. Then it's settlements. I don't think we should go into all this blame game. I think we should look at reality and realize the problem is not settlements. The problem is reaching a settlement. And there is one part of the Palestinian people and the Palestinian leadership, led by President Mahmoud Abbas and Salam Fayyad, who wants to reach a settlement and live in peace. And there's another part, led by Hamas, which wants only to destroy and kill and maim and is indiscriminately targeting kindergartens and schools in Israeli towns and villages. This is a situation which no other country in the world would sustain. We lived under it for 8 years, and one day we decided we could not take it any longer. And what has happened in Gaza is a direct result of that. The violence could stop immediately, and peace can prevail immediately once Hamas decides that it doesn't want to shell Israeli cities and kill Israelis anymore. The minute that stops, we can have peace in 1 minute. That's what it's all about.
Mr. Gillerman, thank you very much for joining us and sharing your thoughts with us on this particular occasion. Well,